Okay, here we are in quiz number 1, and let's read what they say. A newspaper has posted this question: how often do you seek medical information online? Of the 1072 internet users who chose to respond, 38% of them responded with frequently. What term is to describe this type of survey in which the people surveyed consist of those who decided to respond? And what's wrong with this type of sampling? This is voluntary response sample, meaning the people can choose to respond or not respond in this survey when you post something on a website. Do you get the idea? So whereas if you were to interview people on the street or come to their house and ask them personally, they still could choose to respond or not respond, but a lot more of them, a great high percentage, would answer you when you're in person. And so that's a better study. Whereas if you do something like you just post it on a website, hardly anybody's going to respond. You're only going to get like 1% of all the people who see the post on the website actually responding. And so what you get is a very strange, when you have a voluntary response sample like that, you only get the extreme views. The only people that are going to respond to that study, like if there's something on a website and they, click on this website and give us your opinion on this topic, you're only going to get the extreme views. People that are super into that topic, they either love it or they hate it, whatever it is. They have extreme views. You're not getting the regular person's view. You'd only get that if you ask them in person, if you do something on a website or something like that, which we see all the time in our society today. That's called a voluntary response sample, and you're only getting extreme views because only like 1% of people are going to actually give an answer, and they're the extreme people. So what's wrong? The responses may not reflect the opinions of the general population. You're trying to find out what the general population really thinks. Well, you're not going to get the truth of that if you just do a voluntary response sample. You're just getting what the extreme people think. And also, many people may choose not to respond. There we go. Oh, and they're a self-selected sample. Forgot that one. Number 2, determine whether the results appear to have statistical significance, and also determine whether the results appear to have practical. Okay, so let's review those terms. Statistical significance means less than 5% chance results happened by luck. By luck. So there's less than a 5% chance that the results just happened by luck. Like if I took a dice, a single die, and I rolled it 10 times in a row and got 10 sixes in a row, you might start to think that there's something funny with that die, because there's not a very good chance you're going to just get 10 sixes in a row. There's a really low chance of luck. That's a statistically significant result, meaning we think there's something up with that die. It's not a fair die or a normal die. There's something weird with it. Whereas if I just roll die once and get a 6, that can happen. You're not going to right away think that that's a big deal. That's not statistically significant. And then what is practically significant? Practically significant is just if the result matters at all. In other words, like what if you had a new weight loss program and you say, yeah, the people lost on average 3 pounds. Well, that doesn't matter. 3 pounds. You can lose 3 pounds by just not eating dinner 2 nights in a row, I think. So that's not practically a big deal. Whereas if they were losing 30 pounds, then we go, yeah, well, that's something. So practically significant versus statistically significant. So what do we have going on here? It says, in a study of gender selection used to increase the likelihood of getting a girl, 76 users of the method gave birth to 1014 boys and 1062 girls. there's about a 15% chance of getting that many girls if the method had no effect. In other words, that's the chance that you would get this by luck. The chance that this would happen by random luck, 15%. So that's not less than 5%, is it? So it's not statistically significant. Because there is a 15% chance of getting that many girls by chance, the method does not have statistical significance. And then couples would likely use a procedure, not many couples would likely use a procedure that raises the likelihood of a girl from approximately 50% to what? Now, what was the chance of getting a girl? This new method supposedly raised the chance of having a baby girl be born. Well, 1014 boys, 1062 girls. What's the total there? If you add those up, how many kids total? 2,076 kids total. So what's the percent girls? Well, there were 1062 girls out of 2076 total. So that is a 51% chance. If you divide in your calculator, you get 0.51, which is 51% chance that would happen. So, in other words, this method only raised the chance of having a girl from the normal chance of 50% up to 51. So this method doesn't have practical significance either. I mean, that's just not a big deal to only go up by 1%. Okay, a magazine ran a survey about a website for downloading music. Readers could register their responses on the website. So again, it's something posted on a website. So that's a voluntary response. So they can give their opinion, right? A survey. It's a survey. And they just put it up on a website. So that means most people who read that website are not going to take the time to enter their information. You're only going to get the weirdos again. Well, I shouldn't say weird, but the extreme views. You're not going to get the normal person's views because they're not going to take time on a website. If you interviewed them personally, that would be a better way. Then you would get everybody's view and you would get the real truth about what everybody generally thinks. But if you're just going to put something on a website, you're only going to get the extreme view because only the extreme people are going to take time to do that. So voluntary response problem again. There it is. Voluntary response samples. So there is a good chance that the results do not reflect the population. They're not going to tell you what really regular people think. Just the extreme views. Number 4. What does it mean for the findings of a statistical analysis of data to be statistically significant? We said that back here. Less than a 5% chance they could have happened by luck. The likelihood of getting these results by chance is very small. There it is. Number 5. Determine whether the given value is a statistic or parameter. Sample of professors is selected and found that 50% own a television. Okay, so how do we determine that? What is that? Is it a statistic or parameter? A statistic is a result from a sample versus, I'll come down here, a parameter. Here, I better leave some more room. Come over, let's put it over here. Parameter, that's a result from a population. So, what do I mean? So, like, if you just ask 100 people who they're going to vote for, and 70% said they're going to vote for person A, that's a statistic because it came from a sample. Whereas on election day, the whole country votes, and let's say 60% vote for person A. That's a parameter because that's from the whole population, not just from a sample. That's the difference. So what do we have here? A sample of professors. So this number must be a statistic because it's from a sample. So S goes with S. Statistic, sample, and P goes with P. Parameter from the population. So in other words, when they poll before an election, they grab samples of people, a poll, and they ask who they're going to vote for because they're trying to figure out what the real parameter is going to be when the whole population, the whole country votes on election day. Get the idea? Sample, statistics are taken from a sample to help predict what the real parameter is for the whole population. That's how statistics works. So it's a statistic because the value is a numerical measurement of a population? No, it's this one. Statistic because it's from a sample. Yeah. Now let's try number 6 here. So number 6 says a particular country has 50 states. If the areas of all 50 states are added and the sum is divided by 50, the result is that many square kilometers. Determine whether this result is statistic or parameter. So how do we know if it's a stat or a parameter? Well, did it come from a sample or from the whole population? All 50 states. That's the population. That's the whole United States, right? It's the whole country. That's the whole population. So this number must be a parameter. P goes with P, S with S, a parameter. So it's a parameter because it describes something from the population. Okay, number 7. State whether it's discrete, continuous, discrete or continuous. Okay, discrete. So discrete means only certain values. So discrete data is only certain values. So that would be like if I said, so for example, number of coins in a bank, right? That cannot be any number. What do I mean? It can't be 3.26. You can't have 3.26 coins, right? You have to have 3 coins or 4 coins or 5 coins, etc. Only certain values. You can't be any number. You can only be certain numbers. Okay, as opposed to the other thing is a continuous. A continuous number or, continuous number can take on any value. So that'd be like if I said for example, the weight of a pig. Now, you might think, what do you mean? How can that be any number? Well, it can, right? The pig could weigh 112.6 pounds or 129.3 or on and on you go. He could be any number. He's not just certain specific numbers. He can be any kind of number. That's a continuous variable, we call it. Versus discrete. Like if you're discrete, you're careful. You only do, discrete means only a few values. Like the number of coins can only be 3, 4, or 5, or the number of marbles in your pocket. Okay, so let's look at the question now. They're saying the area of different pieces of paper in square inches of different pieces of paper. Area can be any number. Area can be, the area is like length or weight. Down here, it can be any number. You can't say, the area is 5 square inches or 6 square inches. It can't be anything in between. No, it can be in between. So it's discrete. It's continuous because the data can take on any value in an interval. Any value. Number 8. Which of the following is discrete? Discrete again means only certain values, like number of coins. Hair color? No, hair color can be all kinds of different things. Number of suitcases on the plane? Yeah, that's it. Because that's going to be either like 112 or 113. It can't be 112.5. You can't have half a suitcase, right? Amount of rainfall? No, that could be any number. 3.7 inches, 10.16 inches, can be any number, huh? Tree height, that can be any height. The tree can be 17.3 feet high or 12.9 feet high or any number. So number of suitcases is discrete. It's only certain values. Number 9. What kind of study is this? Random, systematic, convenient, stratified, cluster sampling? What is it? A researcher selects every 157 Social Security number. That sounds like a system. Every 157. Next one. In a poll, 915 adults were called after their telephone numbers were randomly, that's off. No, it's okay. Randomly generated by a computer, and 8% were able to correctly identify Secretary of State. So that's random. They just randomly pick their numbers. Okay, number 11. Okay, so which type sampling is used again? Determine the customer opinion on their check-in service. American Airlines randomly selects 30 flights during a certain week and surveys all passengers. So they just picked a certain week. They didn't go all year long, just they picked 1 week, and so that's a cluster. That's one group, that's a cluster. That 1 week, it's a cluster. Next, cluster's like a group, you just picked one group. Next, a market researcher has partitioned all residents in a certain region into categories of unemployed, employed full-time, employed part-time. She's surveying 46 people from each category. So that's stratified. That's breaking it into different groups, strata. Different, that's what they really do when they poll before an election, is they'll break the population up into different age groups, different men, women, different races, different income levels, whether in the city or the country. That's a stratified sampling when you break it into different strata, it's called. So this is unemployed, employed full-time, employed part-time. Those are different strata. So, and finally, internet site, call their opinion regarding reluctance to provide credit information online. Ask its members to call in their opinion regarding their reluctance to provide credit information online. So what's going on there? It asks its members. You see, it only picked its members. So that's just a convenient sampling. They're not doing anything random. They're just picking only their members. What about people that are not their members? They're just doing what's convenient. They don't have a system. They're not breaking into strata. They're not doing a cluster. It's just what's convenient for them.